Good morning everyone. My name is Meena, working as an assistant professor in the department of CSE AIML. Today I am going to explain about types of machine learning techniques. So this is an overview of our presentation, the types of machine learning techniques, and the types are supervised learning technique, unsupervised learning technique, semi-supervised learning technique, and the last one is reinforcement learning technique. So before going to explain about the types of machine learning techniques, so we know that machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence, so that mainly focuses on developing the models and algorithms and then let computer systems learn from the data and improve its performance based on the previous experience. So in simple words, we can tell that machine learning teaches the system to think and understand like a human being by learning from the previous data and previous experience. So now there are different types of machine learning techniques, and each type is having its own special characteristics and applications. So now there are mainly 4 types of machine learning techniques, and the first one is supervised machine learning technique, second one is unsupervised machine learning technique, the third one is reinforcement learning technique, and the last one is semi-supervised learning technique. So we'll discuss each and every learning technique individually. The first one is supervised machine learning technique. So what is supervised machine learning technique? So as its name suggests, supervised learning technique is based on the supervision of something or some person or some technique. So it means that in supervised learning technique, we train the machines or we train the computer systems by using the labeled data set. And we know that when we are giving a training to our computer system, we will use a huge amount of data set to train the machine. So now in this supervised machine learning technique, we use a data set which is labeled by particular names. So what is label? Giving some name to the data set, and we are using a labeled data set in supervised learning technique, and based on this training, the machine predicts the output for the new problems or the new test cases. So what is the main goal of supervised learning techniques? The main goal of supervised learning technique is to map the input variable x with the output variable y. For example, we have an input variable x and we'll be mapping that input variable x with y. Now, how a supervised machine learning technique will work? So let's discuss this supervised learning technique working with a simple example. So this is an example. So consider a scenario where you are going to build an image classifier to differentiate between multiple images. Now in supervised learning technique, we already know that we are using a labeled data set to train the system. So now here I'm using this data set, and in this data set I'm having different types of images. So in this data set, the red color images are labeled as tomato, and the orange color images are labeled as carrot, and the green color images are labeled as bell pepper. Here we are giving a particular names to these images based on the same features and same properties. Here now this labeled data set is giving to train our system. So this labeled data set is giving to the machine to train and to build the machine learning model. Now, so this is being trained by using this data set, and now so this machine will learn to classify between different images from this labeled data points or the labeled images. So when we are giving a new input, so what is the machine learning? So we are being trained by using a data set, and by using that training, our system will generate the algorithms and our system will generate the machine learning model. And when we are giving a new input to the system, it will predict the output for this new input based on this training, right? So here in supervised learning technique, we are using a labeled data set to train the system, and we are giving a new input which is never seen before. The machine learning model has never seen before. So this is our test data, or this is our validation data. So we are giving a new input to the system for the prediction. So now our system will predict the output, means will predict the new test cases. So which type of images are these? So here this red color image is labeled as tomato. So now this red color image is predicted the output as tomato, and this orange color image is labeled as carrot. Now our system is predicting the output as orange color image is predicted as carrot. In the same way, same. And this green color image is labeled as bell pepper. Now our system is predicting this green color image as bell pepper. So this is how supervised learning technique works. So it is particularly a image classification. So coming to the second one, unsupervised machine learning technique. So it means that in this unsupervised machine learning technique, the machine is going to trained by using an unlabeled data set. So in this unlabeled data set, so what is mean by unlabeled data set? In supervised learning technique, we have used a labeled data set, means we have given a particular name to the input variables. We have given a particular name to the images or the data points in the training data set, and we have used a new data point to predict the output, right? So here unlabeled data set means the data which you are going to give to train the system, in that data there is no output variable is mapped, means there are no names to the data points, and this data set is used by the training purpose of the system, and the machine will predict the output for new test cases without any supervision. So what is the main goal of unsupervised machine learning technique? So the main goal of unsupervised machine learning technique is to group the data points or to categorize the unsorted data points according to the similarities in the data set and patterns and differences present in the data set. So here in this unsupervised machine learning technique, machines are instructed to find the hidden patterns which are present in the input data set. So this is a main goal of this unsupervised machine learning technique. The first one is group the data points based on the categories or the similarities, and to find out the hidden patterns from the input data set. So let's discuss this unsupervised machine learning technique with an example. So let's see this example. The data set we are giving, so this is input raw data, means the unlabeled data. So here we have a multiple types of images. So each image is having their own properties and features. So now this unlabeled data set is given to the system to train itself. So first, what it will do in unsupervised learning technique, what is the main goal of unsupervised learning technique? To categorize the data points based on the similarities and to find the hidden patterns which are present in this data set. So the first one is categorizing. Categorizing means what? Grouping the things based on the similarities or making the clusters based on the similarities. So now here in this unlabeled data set, how it will group the data points based on the similarities means, see, these three data points are having same color and same shape. So it means that these three data points are belongs to same category. So here it is generating an algorithm and it is using or it is applying a suitable algorithm. Here for this categorization or for grouping the data points, we will use k-means clustering algorithm and k-mode clustering algorithm to group the data points based on the similarities. So here what k-means clustering do and what k-mode clustering will do. So based on the similarities and behavior of these data points, it will make those data points as one group, means it will make those data points as one cluster in technical terminology. And the second one is here. So this data point and these three data points are having same color and same shape. So same way these three data points are categorized as one cluster, and the remaining data points are different in colors but the same in shape. So now taking the same pattern, so here pattern comes into the picture. So these three data points are categorized as one group. So here there is no name for this data set, and here for the output also there is no name for this output variables also. Here the outputs are clusters. So these clusters are having data points which are having same properties and same behavior. So here we are feeding this unlabeled data set to train the machine learning model. So now the first thing is it will interpret this raw data to find the hidden patterns which are present in this data and apply the suitable algorithm. Then it will make the clusters from this data set. So whenever, yes, this is completed of training of the data, training of your machine learning model. Now whenever you are giving a new data, whenever we are giving a new data to the system to predict the output, which type of data it is, then it will predict the output. It will take this data point to any of these clusters. It will not predict the exact name of the data point, and based on the feature or property of this data, new data point, it will take that data point to the particular cluster which are having same features. So this is how unsupervised machine learning algorithm works. So once it applies the suitable algorithm, this algorithm will divide the data objects into groups. So this is how unsupervised machine learning technique works. So coming to reinforcement learning technique. So this reinforcement machine learning technique is different from supervised and unsupervised machine learning technique. Here we are giving the training to the system. It is ready to predict the output. Then in this reinforcement machine learning technique, already the data is given to the system for the training purpose. It is already being trained by the data set, but it is predicting the output based on the feedback. So reinforcement learning is a feedback based machine learning technique in which the agent learns to behave in an environment by performing the actions and seeing the results of those actions. So for each action, the agent will get a feedback. For example, for each good action, the agent will get positive feedback, and for each bad action, the agent will get a negative feedback. So this is how reinforcement machine learning technique will work. And see the example. So for example, this is my new input data. So I am giving this input data as which type of input it is, which type of data point it is. So our machine learning model is already trained by using a data set. Now I am giving new input data to predict the output, what type of input it is. So based on the training, it is giving, our machine learning model is giving the output as mango. So now this input is not a mango actually. So what it is giving the output? It is giving an output as mango. So next, what agent is doing? The agent is a decision maker that performs the action. Yes, the model is predicting the output as mango, but the agent is taking the decision. So he is giving the feedback that no, it's a wrong output. It is not a mango and it is a apple. So this feedback is noted by the computer system or the machine learning model. So again, it is learning from the data which we have given for the training purpose. Then it is predicting the output for the new test point again. So it is now predicting the output as yes, it is an apple. So this is what correct output means. It is a reinforced response. So here what agent has done, the agent is giving the feedback to the machine learning model that it is not a mango, it is an apple. So the agent is giving good feedback here. So here the agent will get rewarded. So if the agent is giving yes, the output is mango, yes, your predicted output is correct, means the agent is giving a bad response or the bad suggestion to the system. So here the agent will have to take the punishment to correct its output. So what are the terms comes under reinforcement machine learning technique? The first one is agent. So here the agent is a decision maker that performs the action. And the next one is environment. So what is environment? The system in which the agent operates. Okay, the environment is the system in which the agent operates. And the next one is state. So what is the state? A current situation or the condition the agent currently present in. So and next, what is action? So action is which the agent is giving or which the agent is taking the decisions. So this possible moves or the possible decisions that agent can take. So this is what the action. And coming to reward. So what is reward? A feedback or a result from this environment based on the agent's action. So these are the terms comes in reinforcement learning. So in this reinforcement learning, already the training is completed. Whenever we are giving a new input data, so it has to predict which type of input it is. So while it is predicting, the agent will take the decision whether this output is correct or not. So it is completely based on the feedback of this agent. So this is how reinforcement learning technique works. So coming to the last one, semi-supervised learning technique. So we know that supervised learning technique uses the labeled data set to train the system, and unsupervised machine learning technique uses unlabeled data to train the system. So coming to semi-supervised machine learning technique. So basically this is a type of machine learning technique. This falls between supervised and unsupervised learning technique. So we can say that it is a combination of, in simple words, we can say that a semi-supervised learning technique is a combination of supervised learning technique and unsupervised learning technique. So here in this semi-supervised learning technique, we use a small amount of labeled data set. It means it comes under supervised learning tech, and a large amount of unlabeled data set. It means it comes under unsupervised learning technique to train the model. So it is using both labeled data set and unlabeled data set to train the model. Then how it works, how it's being trained. So this is what the working flow of semi-supervised learning technique. The main goal of semi-supervised learning technique is to learn a function that can accurately predict the output variable based on the input variables. So it means that how a system can predict the output accurately. When we are giving a labeled data set for the training purpose, then it will predict the output accurately. When we are giving unlabeled data set to the training of the system, then it will give the output, it will predict the output, but the accuracy of that output will become less. So here the main goal of semi-supervised learning is to learn the function that can predict the output with highest accuracy. So it takes a labeled data set for the training of the system. So then the algorithm is trained on the data set that contains both labeled and unlabeled data set. So it will use this labeled data set for the training and unlabeled data set for the training. So here the input and output variables are mapped. Here by using this labeled data set, the input and output variables are mapped, and by using this unlabeled data set, the categories or the clusters will be formed based on the patterns. So now you are using both labeled and unlabeled data set for the training of your system. So then it will predict the output for the new test cases. So let's discuss this semi-supervised learning technique with an example. So now here I am using this data set for the training of your system. So here in this data set I am using a small amount of labeled data set and a large amount of unlabeled data set. So by using this labeled data set, the label of this image is some apple and label for this image is pineapple. Right. So here I am using a small amount of labeled data set and a large amount of unlabeled data set. So here I am using these two types of data sets to the training of my system. So here the label for this image is apple by using this labeled data set, and the same image or the image which is having same properties or the same features are having in unlabeled data set. So now the image name is apple in the labeled data set and there is no name in this unlabeled data set. So now it will map this name to this unlabeled data set, unlabeled data points which are present in this unlabeled data set. Same as this image is labeled as pineapple and the images which are present in this unlabeled data set are having no name, but the features are of these images and the feature of this image are same. Now we can take, or it will take the image is belongs to pineapple. So here this both labeled and unlabeled data set is given to the machine learning. This both labeled and unlabeled data set is given to the system to the training purpose. Now how it will take the training? So the first thing is it will generate a pseudo labeled data set by using this labeled data set and unlabeled data set. So it is mapping the name which is present in the labeled data set to the unlabeled data point. So now it is generating a pseudo labeled data set. Now this data set is given to the training of my system. So now it will generate a machine learning model based on this pseudo labeled data set, and it will predict the output for the new data points. So this is my new data point here. So here I am having two types of images which are having same properties, right? So now I am giving this data set to test the model. Now, so based on this pseudo labeled data set, it will predict the output. So yes, these two images are belongs to apple, and these two images are belongs to pineapple. So this is what semi-supervised learning technique will work. So here what we have done here, so we have taken labeled input data and unlabeled input data. Now this labeled input data is given to the training of our model. Then it will learn to classify between the images. Then it will interpret the raw data and will find the hidden patterns from this unlabeled data set. So now it will apply the suitable algorithm on this two types of data. Now when we are giving a new input data, it will use the learned algorithm based on this pseudo labeled data set. It will predict the output for the new data points. So this is how unsupervised learning technique works. Thank you.